In the origin of Metazoan, we will be discussing about the 4 key faunas in which the development or evolution of Metazoan has taken place. The evolutionary faunas has the 2 words. One is the evolution and another one is the fauna. What does the fauna mean? Fauna or the biota. The biota is the general term, which is the collection of all the organism in one place, that is called fauna, biota. And we are dividing the biota into 2 forms. One is the flora, another one is the fauna. Flora is pertaining to the plants and the fauna is pertaining to the animals. And the evolutionary fauna are the animals which were growing during the last 600 million years. And the evolutionary fauna, there are the 3 main periods in which these metazoans were flourishing. They were evolving very rapidly. And the 3 great evolutionary faunas of Phanerozoic, Cambrian, and Paleozoic. And the 4th one is of today, the modern one, in which we have another, the rapidly increasing number of species of today, which is called modern fauna. And we know that these faunas have been, going on for last 550 million years. So the evolutionary faunas are comprising of the Ediacara Biota. So Ediacara is a place, but there was a particular period in our geological history or the biological history that is called Ediacaran period. And then there are the faunas which are relating to the Cambrian explosion and Ordovician radiation. We will be discussing all these 3 things in detail. And all of these faunas, they set the scene for the life on the planet. So all the life that is present on the planet today, the whole set or the whole organisms, they have been evolving to their simpler form from these different faunas, or they have ancestors developed during the different developmental stages of rapid development. During the evolution, there are some periods when the species are, there are some speciation events, as we have discussed earlier. So these are the faunas or the radiations or explosion. Explosion when there is, during the short time, there is increase in the species number, while the radiation is when there is an extinction event, and after that, the limited number of species are giving rise to the increase in biodiversity due to the less competition. So first of all is the Ediacara Biota. So Ediacaran Biota consists of enigmatic, tubular, and frond-shaped, mostly sessile organisms that lived during the Ediacaran period, which was 635 to 542 million years ago. So this period contained some sessile. Sessile means that organism who cannot move. So these were the original metazoan multicellular organism which were developed during the Ediacaran period. So the first impressions of soft-bodied organisms can be found during the Ediacaran fossil record. And these rocks are present in the upper Proterozoic rocks of Namibia. Namibia is a place in Africa. And in the Pound Quartzite in the Ediacara Hills of north of Adelaide in the southern Australia. So the Ediacara Biota was present in, and it can be found in the fossil record of shallow water siliciclastic sediment. So siliciclastic means that those are having the silica in them, and these were the soft-bodied organisms, and they had the high surface area to volume ratio. What does the high surface area to volume ratio signify? The surface area to volume ratio, the higher it is, the more it is easier for an organism to exchange the materials from the environment to its own body. And they had the symmetries developed as well. So symmetries, we have discussed it in the previous lectures, the radial and bilateral symmetry. Radial, in which you can cut in multiple planes and still you get the identical pieces together, but in the bilateral symmetry, you can cut only in one plane and then you will get the identical mirror images of a body. So, an Ediacara biota went extinct about 500 million years ago. And here in this diagram, you can see the stratigraphic distribution of Ediacara biota during the Ediacaran period, which was the last stage of a Neoproterozoic. And you can see on the right side, there is the Ediacara biota. And after that, it is followed by the Cambrian time Shelly biota. So all of these things, you can see the solid triangles which are showing the glaciation, and C stands for the calcified metazones which were developed during this. So after that, we have the Cambrian explosion. It is also called Cambrian radiation. So it was the relatively short span of 20 million years. So in these 20 million years, a lot of species were diversified and they were increased in the abundance as well as the diversification of new species. And it was started 541 million years ago. And during this period, most major animal phyla appeared. The Cambrian explosion generated many entirely new and spectacular body plans. So we are going from simplicity to the complexity in the body forms of organisms. And there was, if we see the fossil record, there was sequential appearance of successively more complex metazone during the Cambrian period. So as you go along the time in the fossil record, in the newer layers, you can get more and more complex organisms. And phylogenetic analysis shows that metazone evolved monophyletically from flagellated colonial protist, similar to the modern choanoflagellates. So we have the phylogenetic analysis, and with the help of that, we have seen that if we see their DNA, they have come from a single ancestor, and those ancestors were the flagellated colonies. That flagella is an appendage to a cell which help it moves. So the colonies which were having the flagella, they combined together and they made some organism which were just like choanoflagellates. Choanoflagellates are the simple organism whose cells have flagella. So these were the earliest form of organism that were present at the end of the Cambrian explosion.